Things for us were going very nicely until about 2004. My mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and then passed away in 2005. So my father then became a widower. He didn't want to stay here straight after the funeral, so he came back to Australia with my daughter and I and stayed with us for about 3-4 months. Then came back to Gloucester, and we thought everything was okay. And then suddenly I would start getting phone calls about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and my father had always been very good at knowing the time differences. Although Italian was his first language, his English was very good. He was able to read, write, speak very good English. Suddenly I was thinking, why is this, that he's suddenly not being able to cope? Here was somebody who was independent, knew his own mind. I knew something wasn't quite right, and even between his GP and I, we possibly suspected that he might have had maybe the beginnings of dementia, some form of dementia. So then I sat with Bill, my husband Dan, my daughter Elena, and basically said, I don't think I can cope doing this anymore. I think coming from an Italian background where family is really important, I didn't like the idea of him being in a home and nobody going to see him. Well, of course it was December 2008 when we came back, and when we first walked into the house, it was cold. It was damp smelling, because obviously my father hadn't really bothered with putting the heating on. To be honest, he was quite depressed. He had lost a lot of weight. I was really surprised when I came back how much weight he had lost. My father's quite a stoutly person, and you can see there's a photograph of my mother and my father there. Obviously nutrition is an important part, because I found that with my father, even when he was at home, his eating was changing. He was actually losing weight, but nobody really explained why he was losing weight, even though he ate quite a lot. We had one care worker that worked at a nursing home as well, and she seemed to just say, well, it's natural that people with dementia lose weight, but wasn't actually able to offer any advice as to maybe what I could have given my father extra. I went onto the internet and had a little bit, investigated Nutricia a little bit more and find out what they did. And the fact that I then discovered that they worked with Carers UK and that they actually provided information about nutrition and eating well for carers, and that was where the partnership between the two organisations. So again, I got onto the Carers UK website. I went, oh, lo and behold, there's all this information on the Carers UK website about Nutricia. But I found otherwise all the resources that Nutricia produced are very informative for carers, and we do need to be reminded every now and then to look after ourselves as well as what's necessary for the person that we care for.